the new publisher and the Daybreak both have that. Now the new publisher says Chairman Sabonsu, majority leader, resigns. When your marking is air apparent. So that's the only thing they have on their front page. And there's a lovely picture here of some members of parliament with Osei Chairman Sabonsu and Alexander when you're marking both ID'd as to who is who, and the story is sitting large on the front page of the new publisher. Now, the Daybreak newspaper has some other stories, but it has that as well. Chairman Sabonsu steps down as majority leader voluntarily. So that is that.
Okay, so let me take you to the ABC News newspaper. In change in the majority leadership of Chairman Sabonsu as manifesto chair, as Samuel Jan as sports committee chair. The photograph of Alexander Penyo marking is here. He takes over as majority leader in the coming hours. Also on the front page, we're told that Dr. Baumia commiserates with Wofa Kwabena Kwachi's family, tragic death. And then also something here that says, I lied against Dr. Baumia's brother. Nita Fem's Kwabena Mafu is said to have claimed or asserted. And then also some other stories here, including one talking about something happening in the courts.
Okay. All right. The Daily Graphic says, ahead of 2024 elections, avoid hate speech.
Okay.
Peace Council tells political leaders. Government committed to resolve Ahmed Swale's murder, Attorney General assures. Now, the Daily Graphic is dragging the Transport Ministry to the RTI Commission. And more people with higher education unemployed. That's according to a new report from the Ghana Statistical Service. And on the back page of the Daily Graphic, contractor locks school over unpaid services. This is very, very, very interesting. And in the Bono region, burial rites of Sunyai Hini announced.
Let me take you to the Ghanaian Times. The big story says, set priorities right to fix economy. Otumfuo said to tax finance minister designate. And his photograph is here on the front page. Also, will ensure fitting 67th Independent Day anniversary celebration. That is the Eastern Regional Minister says it, Kwame Champong, there making that comment. Also, the front page, LGBTQ plus bill. Akwenyo marking loses bid to substitute imprisonment with non-custodial sentence. Also, on the front page, Maslow fails to recover over 291.5 million Ghana cedis in loan disbursed over the last 12 years.
Wow, that's serious.
And some other stories here.
All right, the Daily Guide says political parties appoint leadership. That's coming in from the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament.
Interesting ruling from the Speaker yesterday.
Yes, other stories. Konfanoche Teaching Hospital loses 200 nurses in a year. Kumasi International Airport ready April. Okay. Parliament chases MIIF over $12 million Ijapa expense. And Sexy Dondon killed JB Dankwa Edu. So that's coming in from an investigator or the investigator. Yes, it's been ages, it's been decades.
The Chronicle says John Kuma woos private sector as government embarks on agenda to create wealth for Ghanaians. Okay. Also, Parliament is committing gender atrocities. That's according to KTM. I'm not sure. That's not what he said. I mean, not in the sense of that's what, it was specific to the matter of appointment committee members. They have reconstituted the thing, and for some reason, women were not on the list, and he had issues with it. It was a legitimate, but if you make it committee, it suggests that that's what they are doing every day.
Okay. The Vanguard says Baumia goes for the jugular. Okay, that's what they say. It goes for the jugular on pages 2 and 3. MPA resolved to complete LNG project and Galamsey water used to boil kenke. And Amin Adam House, very worrying. Amin Adam House over leakages at the port.
The new finder says 14 million euro, $5 million paid to Konfuanoche Teaching Hospital, Afare Military Hospital Project contractors. Okay. And then also, NPA boss investigates robust intra-African oil and gas industry. And then something here, again, talking about $35 million Commander Sugar Factory beyond recovery, according to Gao. Oh, how? Is Port like that? No, that cannot be acceptable. BOG signs MOU with UGBS, University of Ghana Business School, DBG, that one I don't know it yet, for research to address MSME's funding challenges.
Okay. All right, finally for me, the Daybreak newspaper says Accra Commando strikes, orders Dampare to halt 53rd Cadet course, uncovers grave issues in selection process. And in other stories, ARDA OPEC partner for robust oil and gas industry.
So let me take you to the final two I have this morning. The Inquisitor says revenue assurance, GRA SML deal give Ghana over 12 billion Ghana cedis from downstream petroleum activities. So the justification for the deal is being reported here. Also, in search of partnership, Napoli's officials to Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. And MCE, Eastern Region MPP Secretary, sniffed in delaying Ikuapem South primary elections.
Okay.
And then JM hosts 2024 NDC policy dialogue today.
Right.
Finally, the Anchor newspaper says that Asanko Mines unleashes soldiers again as the bloody clash looms in Manso, Tontokrom over jobs. A tragic story here on the front page. Ghanaian father of 4 killed in Canada while standing at a bus stop. This is troubling and happening in Canada, a fairly peaceful country. It's some way.
Terrible
and then pupils 10 cement blocks as table to steady on.
Let me take you online now. Chairman Sabonsu named chairman of Baumia's 2024 Manifesto Committee. And refreshing that quickly, government generated 1.19 billion Ghana cedis from e-levy in 2023. John Kuma is speaking here. Ablakwa raises alarm over 700 unaddressed cases by parliamentary committees. We will announce electoral calendar before February ends. This is EC speaking. And Baumia's Manifesto, Asamoah chairs Youth and Sports Subcommittee. My Joy Online, yeah, baby. Osei Chairman Sabonsu was pushed out of his position. Dr. Draman is speaking here. Chairman steps down as majority leader upon marking in the saddle. Hajia for real pleads guilty in $2 million romance scam case.
Oh.
And then also...
I thought they said the media was lying.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Election 2024. Juliet Asante, Tony Oting, Desi, and former NACA boss named in NPP Manifesto Committee. Taking you to the BBC quickly. I'm sad for everyone who has been killed. How 2 years of war in Ukraine changed Russia. Dozens of Russian troops die in Ukraine airstrike. If you go to the CNN, family friend charged with murder in 11-year-old Texas girl's death after her body was found in a river tied to a rock. Such a tragic story here. Yeah. And U.S. Russian citizens didn't have a worry when she went to Russia. Her boyfriend says, okay, this is an arrest, a treason-related story. Let's go into the details of the stories, gentlemen.
If you go to page 3, the new publisher has the biggest political story in Ghana today. Now, the story says the majority leader, Seche Mensabuso, on the night of yesterday, Wednesday, February 21, personally announced his voluntary resignation from the position. Chairman Sabusu announced this during a meeting held between the majority caucus and the president at the Jubilee House. The meeting was ostensibly to dialogue and build consensus among the caucus leadership of the NPP and the presidency on a possible restructuring of the composition of the current leadership of the majority. Now, Deep Throats in attendance at the meeting said after the usual protocol courtesies and exchange of warm felicitations, the president thanked the MPs present for honoring his invitation and explained to them the motivation behind the meeting. So the paper goes on to detail everything that went on there and in the process. So after the president spoke and Mr. Justin Korea from Pron also spoke, it was the turn of Osechi Mensah-Bosu, and after his usual hallmark or waxing lyrical, announced his resignation as majority leader a decision he described as voluntary.
Yeah. So some other newspapers carried that story this morning. So the ABC News newspaper says change in MPP majority leadership and Osei Chairman Sabonsu as manifesto chair. That story came in immediately after the what do you call it? The what's the name? The resignation of the Honorable Chairman Sabonsu as majority leader. And if you go to the paragraph that deals with that, they say that inside the report that Honorable Osei Chairman Sabonsu, the current majority leader, Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, is to be replaced by Alexander Penyo Marking, the current deputy majority leader. Now, the Swami MP will be outdoored as the head of the manifesto committee, which would see former Black Stars captain leading the subcommittee on sports. Our understanding is that tomorrow, sometime during the day, there will be a meeting of the National Council of the NPP. Then the changes will be formalized.
Okay.
Well, the new publisher has that detail. It says the NEC and the National Council will meet at the Alisa Hotel in Accra by 9 a.m. on Friday.
Okay. Now, in a related development, Osei Chairman Sabonsu was pushed out of his position. This is Dr. Rashid Rahman speaking. He's the executive director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. He's expressed concerns about how the former majority leader, Osei Chairman Sabonsu, resigned from his position. He was speaking on Joy News' Prime Express, where he questioned whether such an approach was the best way to encourage individuals to dedicate themselves to public service. So I'm trying to get a quote. So really, we are just seeing a replay of the situation that we saw with the NDC and Osei Chairman Sabonsu has now joined his friend Haruna Idrisu in suffering the same fate. I think he made these points on the breakfast show yesterday when we spoke to him, except that after the honorable member voluntarily resigned, he is couching it as being pushed out of his position.
Well, just in line with manifestos quickly, just to round it up, the 200 experts dialogue for NDC manifesto. Now, this on page 3 of the Daybreak newspaper, and it says over 200 policy think tanks, the NDC's leadership, and the party Social Democracy Lab are heading to the Eastern region for a 2-day policy dialogue. Now, the events scheduled for today and tomorrow will deliberate on the NDC's policy priorities for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, and it will also serve as a prep towards the 2024 manifesto development process and will prepare the ground for a strategic, efficient, and lean government come January 2025.
I hope that the experts will be responsible for implementing the policy decisions that will be made there when they win power, or if they win power, some would prefer to say. The same should apply to the MPP. We should put people who know their stuff in the right offices so that they can do the job. Sometimes these apparatchiks, the experts
so I get
go
to
and
use
discuss,
the experts to craft policy.
and then you go and put some
hard
guy
work and
inside,
put
and then they mess it up and insult you on top of it. Anyway, the Anchor newspaper has a story that is very, 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 very tragic and disturbing. Page 3 of the paper has the details of the stories by Gifty Arthur. And it says Ghanaian father of 4 killed in Canada while standing at a bus stop. And it says a 39-year-old husband and father of 4, Idu Boache, has tragically lost his life in Toronto in Canada during what police say is a random gunfire by an unknown man last Saturday, February the 17th of 2024. Now, the horrifying incident is said to have happened at a bus stop where the deceased was waiting to board a bus. Now, Boache, who reportedly arrived in that country 3 months ago, can you imagine, for greener pastures, oh my word, and was allegedly going out to send money to his family back home in Ghana, was one of 2 victims in the shooting in North York area in northwest Toronto. This is so heartbreaking. The things they go through at the Abelempe traffic light just to get visa. Scorching sun. They stayed there sometimes deep into the night, sometimes without any chair to sit on. When it rains, the rain beats them because they want to get out of the heat in this country. To go through all of that.
Working hard in the snow.
and get shot by some senseless guy. I mean, this is so heartbreaking. We can only send condolences to the family. This is heartbreaking, so tragic.
Terrible story.
Should never have happened.
Sad one coming through. And
Well,
we also told elsewhere that people are using galamsey water to boil kenke.
Yes, page
Why is
3
this?
of the Vanguard. Now, it says residents of Takrady, Accra, and other towns could be consuming contaminated food products made from cassava. This is because some traders at Dra Dominacy in the Valoe at Jomorodra municipality of the Western region are using water from the Galamsey contaminated and Cobra River to prepare cassava dough, which is sent to market centers in Takrady, Accra, and beyond. The Ankoba River serves several communities in the Nzima area in the region, and the river, rich in gold deposits, has socioeconomic importance to communities in its catchment area. Now, according to David Osei, who is a project officer working on this research, he said that our research shows, quote, our research shows it is highly polluted with lead, mercury, and cyanide, which are used by the illegal miners.
That's some
And he
serious
was
stuff.
so speaking to the water quality manager at the Western Regional Office of the Ghana Water Company, Evans Asamoah Jima, indicated that the wrong use of so effectively, because the water is contaminated, the water company has to use a lot more of the chemicals like alum to purify and clean before we can consume. And according to the Ghana Water, the wrongful use of alum or the potassium aluminum sulfate could result in the damage of brain health and the generation of diseases like Alzheimer's.
If you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, contractor locks school over unpaid services. Very quickly, story by Samuel Che Boateng, contractor. A contractor yesterday locked out learners and teachers of the Achim Asini Roman Catholic Primary School in the Eastern region over unpaid services for the school project. The contractor, Konto Owusu Ajekum, said his appeal for the relevant authorities to redeem the cost of his service for the construction of the school had remained unheeded too. In the morning of yesterday, he locked the over 300 learners and their teachers from the classroom, leading to a standoff with the chief executive of the District Assembly, Alex Inkum. Sky, another child rights.
Yeah, I mean, they should. I mean, if you're the person who owes you, you know where to go. I mean, go file the processes necessary to redeem your debt. You know, like this whole thing of locking kids out. It's not right. In the meantime, though, there's a story on page 4, and the people who are responsible, please pay the money.
Very
pay
important.
the money.
Yes,
because Banava Glow for Tojago. Pay the money. Don't go owe people and then be misbehaving. Yeah. Anyway, let me take you to the Anchor newspaper again because this is quickly. Yeah. Pupils turn cement blocks as tables to study, and the photographs here are not good at all, disturbing. Now, page 4 of the Anchor newspaper says, despite several interventions by the government to improve teaching and learning in various schools across the country, a lot remains undone following the emergence of a video of pupils sitting on blocks in an uncompleted classroom studying. Now, the viral video from the Pinvori community in the Shola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region has broken many hearts, with some asking why, after 66 years of independence, authorities are unable to provide decent and conducive environment for pupils to study. I mean, these kids are competing with students in the US, UK, Finland, who are using computers, all kinds of things at their age. And you're happy with that as a politician leading this country.
Gentlemen, thank you for the newspaper review. You heard Sky and Nathan. This is the Citi Breakfast Show. There is more coming up. Stay with us.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car.